at the back of the grid. Seems to be a good jump from LGM. Again, just waiting to see if the stream pulls up and if that improved at all behind them. So as they come down this middle part of the track, it looks like it could be potentially 3 wide. Alfa Romeo looks to the inside of them, 2/10 of each other, as they make their way now through Sector 2. Ooh, hello, Mango. Is the stream a little bit better at least? I hope. I tried to at least reset the router quickly, and hopefully it's a little bit better. Who got pole? Crooner was on pole, and got away fairly cleanly at the start, but had a spin on lap 1 and fell to the back of the field. So he's recovered nicely up to P5 after a safety car from a worried cloud spin earlier. Spin down at the exit of turn 1 within that Alfa Romeo. So that's 2 spinners down in Sector 1. But it's LGM with a nice little 2-second gap back to Bamboo Vegas as Duncan and Boring battle through the hairpin now. It does look like the stream is at least a little bit better at this point. So again, sorry for if it is a little bit pixelated. As we look at Formula Jonah taking a look to the inside of Crooner as the midfield very tight right now. All vying for position there. It's air, but all going about single file as of right now. So it's LGM going to be looking to extend that gap as much as possible, and James and T34 swap positions down that second main straight in sector number 2. But it's going to be Bamboo Vegas looking to stretch it out advantage as much as possible and chase after LGM's Mercedes. Of course, both on medium tires is Speedy Gunner, the first to receive a 3-second time penalty now. Crooner, of course, recovering very of the field, as Dodoligo and Duncan very close together, as that's a yellow flag. What is that a yellow flag for? I cannot quite start, as Crooner missed getting up into third position. The Red Bull recovering very nicely, but Formula Jonah started P8 on the grid, has now improved all the way up to P4. Boring, who ran in second for a large part of for a lot of the first part of the race, is now in 5th and is under threat from Duncan in the Aston Martin. Looks to the inside down here into the chicane. Boring potentially looking to get him on exit. Looks around the outside, but is looking to get a little bit better traction, and is going to swoop right around the outside of the Aston Martin to retake 5th place, and is probably looking to hold it fairly well. DRS wide open at the back as they go into this hairpin. The Aston Martin side by side, as well as the McLaren and the Williams behind of Luke 2 Red and James 443. Looking to battle as Alexis Beats overtakes Worried Cloud. Or not, as Worried Cloud has had another spin there towards the back, potentially with a little bit of contact with the Alpha Tauri of Alexis Beast. As there's contact between Formula Jonah and Boring. Formula Jonah slow off the exit of that double left-hander. As we have about 6 or 7 cars all battling for this 4th position, currently held by Boring. As it looks like there's 2 or 3 wide and about 3 separate positions, as Worried Cloud with another spin back there in Sector 2. Boring a little bit wide, and Duncan looks to the inside, and he will take 4th place as Alexis Beast gets a 3-second time penalty, but it's the Aston Martin now taking over that 4th position as T34 overtakes Luke 2 Red towards the back of this group. And it's the other Aston of Dodoligo looking to the inside. Could he take 5th place and potentially go chasing after his teammate? Not quite, as Boring gets a slightly better exit. Formula Jonah and James 443 going side by side behind them. And that's James moving up in the 7th, but it's the Mercedes of Boring looking to the inside of Duncan now, able to force him out a little bit. Gives him a nice little bit of space on the exit there, and is able to retake 4th position as James overtakes Dodoligo, and is going to look around the outside of the other Aston Martin, getting both those cars on exit there. But Dodoligo is going to be looking to fight back on his teammate Duncan as they go side by side behind as well, with the AlphaTauri and the Williams, as the Aston Martin of Dodoligo goes a little bit deep, or Duncan goes a little bit deep there, as they now go side by side through the triple right-hander. Hard braking now, as there's contact between them. Who was that? That was contact between James and Duncan. James is out-braking entirely and Duncan out-braking entirely and going right into the back of the McLaren car. Battling that close, you definitely expect chaos. You definitely don't want it to end that way, but sadly that did, as Duncan potentially with a little bit of damage to that front wing Can't tell if an end plate is missing or if there's any minor damage to that Aston Martin car, as Luke Red forced a little bit wide by the Aston Martin as they continue to battle here through Sector 1, as Bamboo Vegas continues to close up, as Luke Red looking around the outside now. Is it going to potentially be 3 wide down to this hairpin? It's going to be Luke Red with a slight advantage, going to be looking to maximize that traction off of exit, and he's going to be able to move up into 7th position. It looks to be, and it's T34 looking at the inside of Duncan as well behind now, as the AlphaTauri going to be looking to just get a little bit later braking, but Duncan's able to retain the position into the chicane now, so the AlphaTauri is going to be looking to potentially get him with DRS now on the exit, as the Alfa Romeo Fireball now on the scene could potentially, as we have a 3-way battle here for P8, as Bamboo Vegas continues to close up to the back of LGEM. And it's going to be Duncan retaining the position. The AlphaTauri and the Alfa Romeo battle behind, and it's T34 staying in 9th. James looking to recover after that incident with Duncan, sitting behind them in 11th, looking to potentially pick up the pieces. As we have LGEM being the first of the leaders to pit now, which gives the lead to Bamboo Vegas in the Haas car. Crooner then moves up into P2 and can go chasing after his championship rival now. But it'll be certainly interesting to see where LGEM comes out in relation to the two, and if they will consider now pulling the trigger for this first round of pit stops. As we have Speedy Gunner as well pulling into the pit lane. It seems that LGEM will pull out right behind Fireball. That's going to be very close on exit. Only a gap of about a 10th, as the Mercedes on fresh tires is able to get up to the inside of the Alfa Romeo and is able to retain the position. Dodoligo and Boring battling once again. Dodoligo looking to the outside of the Mercedes as they break down here into turns number 6 and 7, and it's Boring able to retain the position for the moment. Of course, Dodoligo going to have another shot at DRS as he come down this second straight. Again, looking at speeds approaching about 195 miles an hour as you come into this fat, sweeping left-hand corner. It's Dodoligo out in front for the moment, and it looks like he'll retain the position. Boring looking to fight it back around the inside, but for this triple right, Dodoligo will have the inside and will be able to make that move stick and will move up into the podium positions as it stands. Of course, still needing to pit, but these drivers will be on hard tires. It will certainly, as Formula Jonah is, breaks that a little bit too late and it's a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. This will shake up the order fairly massively. We have Bamboo Vegas, and we have a very close battle here towards the back. We have about 4 cars all battling for what is currently 4th position on track. It's James, and it's looking to be another potentially into this turn number 5. It's James holding 5th, LGEM in 6th, having just come out of the pit lane a couple of laps ago, and is currently your effective leader, not taking into account pit stops. Of course, Luke Red having to pit earlier in this race, currently sitting in 3rd, and it's James looking to the inside of T34. It's LGEM making the move stick as well, and the AlphaTauri loses 2 positions down that back straight. Now, of course, the Haas of Bamboo Vegas coming onto the scene now, going to be looking to make some moves as this race continues. Again, just going to be trying to get those tires right into the operating condition he wants. He will not have DRS here, and he might be under threat from Fireball around the outside now. But it's Dodoligo and Boring continuing to battle up at the front now as they come through a little bit wide from the McLaren. And the Mercedes looks to take advantage and goes down the inside into turn 2. And LGEM moves up into P4. James potentially struggling on those rather old medium tires. And LGEM on those fresh hards is able to go to work and get it done, as Dodoligo has been able to pull a nice little gap to Boring, as James now under threat potentially from T34. He seems to be okay for the moment, but it's Bamboo Vegas down the inside of the AlphaTauri car. The number 34 is going to lose that position for the moment to Bamboo Vegas, who moves up into 6th position, and as we have a yellow flag in Sector 1, that is an Aston Martin of Duncan that is spun round, probably getting on the curb at turn 2 or turn 3. So certainly a big struggle for the Aston Martin, but it's currently LGEM leading the way of this big pack of cars. Of course, we have the leaders still to pit of Dodoligo and Boring. Luke Red as well will probably need to pit, and so your top 3 still with a pit stop to go in this race. But anybody who's on hard tires now can almost certainly go to the end of this race. As we have Dodaligo. Did Dodaligo go spin round there? I believe he did, which means the lead now transfers to Boring, and Dodaligo will drop to third position. Looks like no damage to that front wing, but certainly a major loss of time for a driver that was looking to continue a solid pace and potentially pick up some places after his pit stops. His T34 is the first to start on the hard tires to dive into the pit lane now. As we have James and Bamboo Vegas battling, the Haas looking to the inside of the McLaren, not quite able to make it stick, but he'll have a shot with DRS as Luke Tourette and Dodaligo now side by side down the back straight as Duncan gets another penalty. As these cars continue to go side by side, it's Dodaligo with the advantage over Luke Tourette. Here comes Elgem on the scene as Rory Cloud receives the penalty. The McLaren and the Haas of James and Bamboo Vegas continuing to battle as we head down this back DRS straight. The Williams now of Luke Tourette will now have the advantage of DRS, as will the Mercedes of Elgem, and it's the Williams looking to the outside now, going to be blocked off a little bit by the Aston Martin of Dodaligo, who will retain second position. Luke Tourette now under threat by Elgem in third, a little bit loose there on exit, which means that Luke Tourette will be able to retain third position as Bamboo Vegas behind, and James continue to battle. They're side by side, a little bit of wheel banging between the two, as James forced to cut across the inside slightly. Still more contact between the McLaren and the Haas, but it's the Haas of Bamboo Vegas able to make that move stick for the moment. I'm sure they will continue to battle as this race continues, but it's Elgem and Luke Tourette continuing to battle. The gap, about 2/10 between those two cars. The Mercedes looking to the run, but not quite being able to make the move stick. Right on the gearbox is Elgem, going to be looking to potentially make a move down into this hairpin, a la Max Verstappen, except he looks around the outside here, and we're looking to maximize the exit. The Williams pushes him that little bit wide, but he's able to make the move stick. Who has DRS as they pull now onto the back straight? It's the Williams behind with DRS, so that certainly doesn't put Luke Tourette out of this fight just yet. We're here on lap 17. It's been action since pretty much the start of this race, with the exception around lap number 7. Packing the field up nicely. But I think this is the first time that we've had a significant amount of racing in a line and a little bit of DRS trains going during this race. But it's about, the closest gap as of right now is about 7/10 from, actually no, it's about 2/10 from Alexis Speed and Speedy Gunner as they come through the chicane now. And down the back straight, the AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo fighting for 11th to potentially chase after T34 there in 10th in the last of the point scoring positions. But it's currently, and Dodaligo is the first to pull the trigger of these hard tire runners, of these two leaders of Dodaligo and Boring, to dive into the pit lane. So it'll be very interesting to see what tires he chooses to come back out on. Whew, if you'll give me a second to catch my breath, because I think this is the first time I've realistically had the opportunity to. Certainly looking as T34 in that AlphaTauri sets a new fastest lap of the race on some fresh medium tires, so looking to pick up potentially that extra point for fastest lap. So here comes Bamboo Vegas down this first of 2 DRS zones now, pulling closer and closer to Luke Tourette, who's on rather old hard tires, potentially looking to go to the end, but could very much struggle during the end of the race. A little bit up on the curbing there, and that could compromise him a little bit down this back straight. 3/10 the gap now between the Haas and the Williams. The Haas now looking to the inside as they make the run down into turn 8, and he's able to make that move stick and move up into the podium positions. Behind him, Crooner in P6 is able to overtake Fireball through the chicane and is able to hold the position now. And Speedy Gunner and Alexis Beats continue to go at it through the chicane as they battle side by side a little bit further down the order. But all eyes will now be up at the front as Alexis Beats and Speedy Gunner once again swap positions down into that hairpin. As Boring now dives into the pit lane. So I believe that means everybody has now stopped at least once in this race. James as well dives into the pit lane on those rather old medium tires and is going to potentially look to end the race, but it'll certainly be interesting as we now have Bamboo Vegas in second place, Luke 2 Red in third, and Crooner in fourth, as we have a yellow flag in sector 1, as Luke 2 Red, on potentially those old hard tires, has lost the back end through turn 2 like we saw so many times in qualifying, and we now have another safety car with just about 11 laps to go. It's going to be very frustrating for that Williams driver, running so well up in the podium places, but just drops it that little bit, runs it potentially a little bit wide, or a little bit too narrow, probably a little bit too narrow at the curbing of turn 4, and just the back end went out from under him, and there was just nothing he could do about that. But that'll certainly tighten up this battle at the front. It's been Elgin leading a lot of the way since the pit stop phase and the first safety car restart. But now Bamboo Vegas on Crooner on those one-lap newer tires will have a fairly big advantage. Formula Jonah as well, and the Williams could be somebody to watch out for. Currently in 5th, but with Fireball likely to dive into the pit lane for a fresh set of tires on that rather old hard set. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out. We'll see if any drivers decide to dive into the pits. Both of the leaders elect to stay out here. Let's see what Crooner decides to do. Of course, you can certainly try and make the softs last from now until the end, as we have Fireball coming into the pit lane in the Alfa Romeo car. You can certainly try to go for the softs from now, but they will be almost completely dead by the end of the race, as Jonah also decides to come into the pit lane. Softs for the Williams behind, and what tires will it be? It will be mediums for the Alfa Romeo. The Williams having to stop and serve stopping and serving a penalty from earlier. He will slap on soft tires to finish this race. Alexis Speed's behind will do the same and put on softs, which means Duncan moves up. The other Alfa Romeo car, a Speedy Gunner, will also go to softs, as will James is in the McLaren. So we've got 4 drivers now, all with fresh soft sets of tires, looking to potentially make moves back up the field before the end of this race. Again, I think it's important to note that Duncan, Alexis, Speedy, James, and Worried Cloud all have penalties that could further impact how this race ends. So that could be something very much to watch out for. So again, if you're joining us for the first time, be sure to like and subscribe here. It's certainly been a very interesting race so far, with a lot of battles throughout the midfield, as Alexis Beast goes off circuit during the safety car, which is something that you really do not want to see and is very frustrating when it happens. Potentially just losing the back end a little bit there, as we're here on lap number 20 of 29 under the second safety car of the day due to Luke 2 Red spinning down in the turn 2-3 section and just not being able to hold it and being kind of pushed out into the outside wall. It should be getting back underway shortly. If you're watching live, go ahead and throw in the comment section who you think will win this race, as Duncan as well now pulls into the pits, but the Aston Martin potentially looking to put on some soft compound tires to finish this race. I think it's very likely, and it does look like it's soft tires from the Aston Martin pit crew. So he'll be coming back out likely in 12th ahead of Worried Cloud down at the back of the grid. But I think the question now is, can Elgin, Bamboo Vegas, and Crooner on those rather old hard tires have enough pace to stay ahead from the mediums and soft runners behind? And more importantly, how long will those tires last? As this should be the last lap we have under safety car, should be getting back going at the end of this lap. We have Worried Cloud switching to softs at the back as well. So we have 3 hard tire runners, 4 medium tire runners, and I believe that's 6 soft tire runners. And if you have OCD and you're watching this, you'll be very happy to see all those colors lining up very, very nicely. It'll be very interesting to see how this race continues. Of course, Elgin likely to start leading the pack at this point. I was leading for most of this race. We got Bamboo Vegas in that Haas behind. Is the safety car not coming in this lap? Well, I think that we may be having another lap under, considering the fact that Worried Cloud has not cut up to the back of the field yet. So we'll have one more lap now under safety car. As we come around here in Sector 3, because the message would have popped up on the screen by now. So that's going to be rather demoralizing for these three at the front on hard tires that are just going to continue to get colder, as now we have a late call for a safety car in this lap, so we will be underway right now, actually, with Worried Cloud pulling up to the back of the field very late. And here we go. And Elgem goes rather quickly out of that final corner, is able to pull a little bit of a gap to Bamboo Vegas behind him, and it's about a second. Seems that the rest of the field fairly calm throughout. As we make our way through Sector 1 and 2 now, Alexis Beast able to overtake Formula Jonah behind as there's a bit of a scramble from the soft tire runners. Alexis Beast, the big gainer there, I believe, gaining 2 positions, as Speedy Gunner overtakes Fireball and Formula Jonah, falling right down the order. The Williams driver potentially struggling with cold tires and not being fully ready. Crooner now under threat from Dodoligo as they come down the back straight, as Fireball falls to the back of the order now, as Worried Cloud overtakes him. T34 potentially defending from Boring as they come down now. And it's the Mercedes and the Aston Martin side by side as they come into the chicane, but it's Crooner able to defend from Dundoligo. Boring, meanwhile, overtakes T34 and moves up into 5th place. Alexis Beast is also able to take advantage. The AlphaTauri driver making full use of those new soft compound tires to jump right up the order as Speedy Gunner and James swap positions behind as they go side by side now through this hairpin. Can the Alfa Romeo stick it in there? I think just about he'll be able to retain that 8th position as Dodoligo now with a 3-second time penalty through that double left-hander under the hotel. So it's currently Elgem having now leading since that restart with a fairly clean getaway with about a second gap back to Bamboo Vegas and Crooner, as it looks like the Mercedes of Boring potentially taking a peek to the outside of Dodoligo down into turn 1, but not quite being able to make a good look stick. Very tight behind Crooner as we have about a nice tight battle for 3rd now, as DRS not activated until the next lap, as there's the AlphaTauri of Alexis Beast looking to the inside of Boring, looking to make full use of those soft tires, not quite able to make the move stick. Let's see if he can do it down this back straight as the rest of the field fairly close together, tucks in behind for that slipstream, going to look to pop out here at the last second, looks around the outside, switches back to the inside now, as the Aston Martin and the Red Bull ahead go side by side. Alexis Beast not quite able to make that move with the dummy stick, as it's a 4-way battle for this final podium position. In 3rd of Crooner, but it's Elgem with just about a second gap up at the front as it's side by side back there, and I believe it's Boring being able to make the move work on Alexis Beast, who attempted to overtake him there, but he's able to stick it he's able to keep it under control and able to retain that 5th position. As DRS now enabled with about 5 laps to go, and there goes the AlphaTauri, of Alexis Beast into the wall on the inside, and that is another full safety car, which is going to leave us with about 2 laps left to go. Oh, it looks like Alexis Beast just lost it under traction there on the exit of the final corner, bringing out this full course safety car for the 3rd time here tonight in Abu Dhabi, which means we'll have a very quick sprint to the finish, and that will be even more interesting to see what strategies each of these drivers call with the pack so close together right now. Get a party up as Husky wants to get in here, so we'll be able to have 2 voices here, if you'll just give me a quick second to do that. But certainly been a very interesting race so far. So I'll go ahead and set up this party here for when Husky is able to drop in. Of course, Husky, very close to there. Speedy Gunner, glorious tandem between him and James. Definitely caught a little bit of that in the background. Great racing between the Alfa Romeo and the McLaren car. Great to see that battling happen going on. Could definitely see the order swapping there constantly back between the two cars, but it'll be very interesting to see if anybody elects to dive into the pit lane of these leaders, as we are now joined by Husky.
Hello.
Certainly, so going to have the Dutchman here for these final couple of laps. It doesn't seem like anybody's going to pull into the pit lane now, as actually T34 and Duncan and Jonah, as we have actually 4 pitters, as T34, Duncan, Jonah, and Fireball all pull into the pits. Speedy Gunner, talking about his battle and also working together a little bit with James as they attempt to jump up the order. But certainly welcome to Husky coming in here. How's your day been?
It's been pretty okay. I've been able to watch the actual F1 race and had to work at 6. So it was not a busy day, so it's pretty okay.
Gotcha. Well, you certainly missed a little bit of an interesting one. Been very close throughout the midfield. But it's been Elgem leading the way for the most part from Bamboo Vegas and Crooner. I believe looking for his first win in Group 2. I'm not sure if you can confirm that or not. I'm going to check that right now. Let's see.
Checking some other stuff. Because we've got Elgem on 12 lap old hearts, Bamboo and Crooner on 11 lap old hearts.
Yeah.
And behind them, Dodoligo and Yaboring on 7 and 6 lap old mediums. And
So-
behind all of them are people on softs. So it's going to be very interesting.
Of course, the older softs on Speedy Gunner, James, and Roy Cloud potentially going to get very worn towards the end, as we now have
this lap.
safety car in again a little bit late as Fireball is able to pull up to the back of the field. It'll be Elgem getting us back underway once again, as it's now 2 Mercedes leading the way, but one will pull off into the pit lane here. So Elgem went right on the exit of this final corner the first time round. Will he go this? He'll go largely the same this time. Not quite as good of a jump though. As Bamboo Vegas is able to anticipate it very nicely, and the gap is about 5 tenths as we cross the line with about 4 tenths to go. Worried Cloud back there in 8th, looking very tight. Dodoligo and Crooner separated by about 2 tenths as they make their way here through the first sector. The Aston Martin potentially looking to the inside, and now the outside of the Red Bull.
Cloud going
as Worried Cloud.
Each sets up a move.
Very close to contact with T34 there. But it's Elgem with a clean enough getaway as Fireball receives the time penalty, and it's Dodoligo looking to the outside now of the Red Bull, like we've seen a couple of times before on these earlier laps, but it's the Red Bull the current championship leader able to retain the position, and it's Word Cloud and T34 continuing to battle towards the back, and it's the Alpine having to also defend from Duncan in the Aston Martin as Speedy Gunner and James continue to battle as they did earlier on in this race after our second safety car restart, as they blast down the back straight now and able to keep it nice and clean in 6th and 7th. Dodoligo and Crooner still side by side. A little bit of contact there between the two, and Dodoligo's going to look up the inside of the Red Bull as they go through the triple right-hander and is able to move up into 3rd for the moment. The Red Bull looking back up the inside now as they head through the hotel section and is going to just about hold on to that 3rd place. They're still side by side all the way through Sector 3, and it's Crooner able to hold on to 3rd.
Those are some crazy battles, just where Cloud goes a little bit wide on the final corner and on the penultimate corner.
Able to keep it out of the wall, though, as Dodoligo, with another look around the outside, goes a little bit off track and not quite able to make that move stick as they continue to fight. Yaboring is also looking for that battle for 3rd, and he's potentially looking to the outside. The Aston Martin looking to the inside of this hairpin now. Can the Red Bull continue to hold on to this position? And it's the Aston Martin just ahead as they go on exit here and will take the advantage. It's 3 cars all within about 2 tenths of a second of each other. It's the Red Bull looking to the inside now as they run down into this run down into this chicane, but that separates the 2 DRS zones. It's Speedy and James battling once again as Roy Cloud and Duncan go side by side, and it's Dodoligo able to hold on to 3rd position. And now Crooner will be under threat from Yaboring.
On Word as well.
And he's looking
just passed him.
He's looking to the inside. He's going to move up into 10th position for the moment. James and Speedy Gunner goes round. Was there potentially contact? And Crooner goes round as well. The championship leader following right down the order on the exit of turn number 8. So there's 2 cars now effectively out of this race in terms of at least winning. And that's Crooner down to the back along with Speedy Gunner.
Oh, Word Cloud round as well.
As Word Cloud.
The hotel section.
And there's a third spin as DRS now enabled. So we got to look all the way back up to the front as Speedy Gunner now back up into the points position. But it's about 7/10 now separating the Mercedes and the Haas car with DRS enabled. James and T34 is well behind in the battle for 5th. Very close together. But it's Elgem going to have to defend now from Bamboo Vegas. We'll have DRS for the last 2 laps of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here in Group 2. It's yellow flag, and that's Worried Cloud spinning at turn 2. Like we saw, it lost his front wing is Elgem. About a 3/10 gap, but that rear light. And they were both spun into the wall. Just side by side. I think a little bit of Codemasters collision physics meant that both of those drivers fighting for a podium are out of the race. And James is now round at turn 8. That front wing on the McLaren is gone.
It's really all popping off round
chaos
right here in the final
all down the field.
laps.
And at the front, as we get ready for this final lap, as Elgem comes through the final corner, it's going to be a battle between the Haas and the Mercedes. As we start the final lap of the race now, it's Elgem from Bamboo Vegas, from T34, I believe on his debut, currently sitting 3rd. Duncan in 4th, and Formula Jonah in 5th, looking to pick up some nice points in the chaos. As we come now, down into turn. Sorry, go for it.
No problem. It's T34's second race. Last time out at Hungary, he got taken out.
Got you.
Lap, so.
But DRS wide open at the back for the Haas car. He's going to have 2 shots at making this move work. He's going to look around the outside now, potentially limit the Mercedes options. He's going to have DRS as the Mercedes of Elgem a little bit loose on exit, but he blocks off Bamboo Vegas just that little bit. This is Bamboo Vegas' last really good shot at potentially making this move stick. Red lights flashing at the back of both cars. Mercedes blocks the outside. Bamboo Vegas round the outside at turn 8. Can Elgem stick it back through and potentially take the decision back? Bamboo Vegas forced off track, and Elgem retakes the lead as they come through this triple right-hander. This is going to go all the way down to the wire between these 2 drivers. As they come through the final couple of corners now. Mercedes just has 2 corners left to hold on to this lead. And it will be Elgem who wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here in Group 2 with a brilliant battle with Bamboo Vegas, who comes home to finish 2nd. T34 finishes 3rd. Formula Jonah, after penalties, finishes 4th, along with Fireball in 5th place. As Worried Cloud out of this race, as there was an incident with James further down the order. Duncan finishes 6th in the Aston Martin. Speedy Gunner in 7th, crashing as he crosses the line. James, coming to the line, will finish P8 and will receive 4 points with a damaged front without a front wing. And Crooner, after being in the fight for a podium position there at the end, will finish P9. And then Worried Cloud, of course, will still retain that 1 point for DNFing there on the final lap. What an interesting last couple of laps, and what a great race.
Yeah, some great defending there from Elgem into the first chicane when Bamboo attacked him. And again, into the long left-hander as well.
Certainly a great race.
Yeah, we had Speedy and, who was it? James at the end, both crashing out as well.
Yeah, of course, going to be disappointing.
When they finished.
Very disappointing. Also very interesting to see that. Luckily it's a game, so no harm, no foul. But it's the Mercedes driver celebrating the win up there at the front. Of course, with great defending side by side through, I believe that was turn number 8, and just being able to beat out the Haas driver to the win today. But it's Elgem winning for Mercedes, followed by Bamboo Vegas in the Haas, and T34 in his second race here in LSR taking home third place. Formula Jonah able to finish P4 with Fireball finishing very nicely in P5. Duncan finishing P6 for Aston Martin with Speedy Gunner in 7th. James in 8th. Crooner taking home the fastest lap of the race and 9th place for Red Bull. And Worried Cloud finished rounding out the top 10 of having DNF'd on that last lap, but will finish the race and will receive that 1 point. So yeah, I know, Husky, you weren't here for the entire race, but even with just those last couple laps, certainly if you have anything you want to add to that point.
Because I joined the stream when just to check if you were still racing, and I saw that, who was it again? Alexis spinning into the wall and creating the safety car, and that's the moment when I joined the commentary, of course, and it just popped off from there.
Of course, very, very reminiscent of the last lap fireworks that we saw back in 2021, except throughout the grid at the end of that race. But certainly very interesting to see. I'm going to check quickly if we are going to have interviews, because it'll certainly be interesting to get El Jim in here, as well as, who is it? Some of the other drivers, to get their opinions on how chaotic that race was. But regardless of that fact, thank you for joining already. This has been a great race to watch, and if you want to see even more chaos, or more controlled chaos, I'll say, definitely go ahead and watch the Group 1 race that we had around Abu Dhabi from yesterday. Definitely worth a watch with James and Formula Jonah on commentary there. Let me see. Let's see if we end up pulling anybody in here for an post-race interview. Certainly a very chaotic race, tons of battles throughout the grid, and now the championship battle has pulled that little bit closer with Crooner having that late race spin.
Yeah.
Must have seen that was El Jim's first win in LSR, so hopefully more to come for the Mercedes driver. Certainly great driving from him to fend off the Haas of Bamboo Vegas.
I remember it being very close for him at Hungary as well, when he almost had it.
Yeah, I don't know if we are... I'm not fully sure if we are going to be getting an interview here. Let's see. I'll take one last check, and then I'll let you go about your day. If you are still with us, definitely stick around if we have the chance to do that. But certainly. But once again, thank you for joining. So let's see. LGM is joining, apparently. So let's see.
Yeah, I've added Elliot and Jonah to the party, but I don't know if they're gonna join in.
Certainly a very tiring race. As here is our race winner of LGM. First of all, congratulations, a great drive from you in that Mercedes. Can you just talk us what was going through your mind real quickly, especially on those last couple of laps with you defending from Bamboo Vegas late in that race, especially through that long turn 8?
Yeah, I was saying to the guys when I was fighting Bamboo that I thought I'd lost it, but my ERS carried me to the end, thankfully. Bamboo sent it into that corner as well. You guys obviously saw that, and I thought I was done there, but somehow I stayed in front.
Certainly a very interesting battle, very reminiscent of, was it the Lewis Hamilton kind of attempt to run the outside on Verstappen. was it back, what was it, about 10 months or so ago. So certainly very interesting. You led for most of that race. Definitely, did you think about coming in under any of those safety cars to potentially switch off those hard tires? Or was that never an option from the lead?
I considered softs with 9 laps to go, but I don't think Bamboo and Bruno would have pitted, so I had to take the risk and stay out, and it's paid off. So
Certainly did. Husky, I don't know if you've anything that you want to add?
No, I don't have any questions really. It's just from the sake of congrats, because you were close in Hungary, I can remember. I don't know about Singapore because I wasn't there, but yeah. Congrats.
Thank you very much, mate. Singapore was a bit of a nightmare, actually. I think I was P2 in front, behind Kruna, and I missed my braking point and hit him in the back. Bit of wing damage, and then that messed my race up. So finally getting a race. And Abu Dhabi, I didn't think I was very good on it, so I'm very surprised I won, to be honest. a lot went my way, I can't lie.
Well, certainly, congratulations on your first win here in LSR, and definitely hope that there is plenty more to come.
Thank you, mate, and great job commentating. I'm going to watch it back. Save the YouTube video to my phone as well.
Thank you, of course. Very interesting throughout the field. It was kind of hard to keep track of all the battles happening throughout, but definitely very fun to watch all the way through the end. So I guess next up, I believe we have Formula Jonah in here. Finished P4. Was it Jonah?
Hey.
There he is. Was it? Yeah. If you just want to talk, obviously P4. A little bit of a rough qualifying, maybe starting P8 on the grid, but certainly some good recovery to finish back and get a nice points haul.
Yeah, it was a great race, honestly. Really happy with the result. Honestly, I didn't have too much confidence coming into this one because I wasn't really, I didn't really trust my my setup. But I was happy to be able to be up there fighting for the overall victory and podiums and points and whatever. So yeah, just honestly great race. And the thing I'm most impressed by is the racing today. We had a lot of quick drivers, which is great, and it just shows how far Group 2 has come from coming, I think it was like 8 or 9 drivers at the start of the season, to a full-on grid. It just really makes my day, honestly. And I also want to say a big congratulations to Elliot. This guy, absolutely amazing drive by him, super consistent, and he absolutely deserves that first win in LSR, so congrats to him on that one. But yeah, honestly, great race from my side, and just can't wait for the next one.
Certainly have to agree. Of course, was a little bit caught up in a midfield battle yesterday that I don't know if it was quite as crazy as it was at times here. But of course, battling through that midfield for a majority of that race. If you just want to talk through some of the things that went through your mind as seeing potentially drivers battle up ahead or looking to make moves up the field with all those drivers so close together.
Yeah, sure. It was a good race. I saw a lot of overtaking and all that sort of thing, and going through my mind, I was just kind of thinking I want to survive this one, and that was kind of the goal, because I saw in qualifying and also during the Group 1 race yesterday that a lot of people were spinning at places like Turn 3 and Turn 9, and my thought going into this one was kind of like, okay, well, I just gotta survive. I gotta make sure I ease it onto the throttle, and that's exactly what I did. I tried not to spin, and I don't think I had any spins that race, which was good. So I'm just happy about that. But yeah, great overtaking from a lot of the drivers. I was just happy to have some close racing. That's kind of what I thought. And then in terms of strategy as well, I had really no idea what to expect coming into this one, because I'm not very familiar with the tire strategy for around here, since it's a brand new circuit compared to the previous game, I do believe. But yeah, it was awesome. I was able to put on, I think it was a medium to hard, and then back to the softs when the safety car came out. So strategy and overtaking and pretty much everything worked out today. So I'm just happy to grab some good points here in Abu Dhabi.
Certainly, congratulations to you for that. Still sitting in P3 of the Drivers' Championship. It's Formula Jonah finishing P4 in Abu Dhabi. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Great comms, by the way.
Thank you very much. And I believe the last guy that we have here is Speedy Gunner.
Hello.
Hello. So certainly a lot of fighting going on throughout the grid for you as well. Definitely unraveled a little bit towards the end of that race. But if you just want to talk us through some of the midfield fighting, including some of the very nice battling you had with James throughout that race.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I want to say before I answer any questions that you have given me is something that I said. Well, me, James, Jonah, and Elliot were in a voice chat together. And, basically what I said is, Elliot, you are the Abu Dhabi World Champion!
Congratulations to him once again.
Me and James were working together while battling through the field. As you might have saw our double overtake on T34. And then me and Alexis were also having a good battle until the first safety car came out. Once that first safety car came out, it was kind of, Alexis was able to find more pace, but Alexis ended up spinning, and that ended his race, sadly. We were having a good fun battle, and then me and James ended up battling. I was way too late on the brakes, and I turned in way too early and hit James. Spun myself out, and then Crooner spun out later in the corner. And James then got taken out later on. I think it was 2 laps later. And I was able to get past him again. And then we had our little after-the-line accident. But it was definitely a good finish. Very good finish for Fireball as well. And I'm happy I was able to get this finish for my friend, Marcus, who this whole weekend I've been tributing my races to. If you may have seen, I've been running the finish flag instead of my usual one, and I have a Finnish helmet that I'm running. So this weekend I played a tribute to him.
Did miss that, so very much a tribute to him, and great racing from you, as well as the rest of the grid. I don't know if you have anything that you want to add, Husky?
No, not really. I just want to say congrats.
Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your days.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wish you the best too. And if you're still with us, thank you for joining us here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I definitely want to apologize for some of the technical difficulties earlier. Once again, I had on the streaming end, but thank you for sticking with us throughout the entirety of the stream, and hope you have a great rest.